Welcome to Act 3, the biggest, baddest, and most surprising stage of your entire story. It's time to bring your story to the crescendo your audience is craving, and there's no way we can make it there without the final plan. And in this lesson, we're finally going to figure out the final plan to understand what it is, the three main parts that make it up, and why, surprisingly, a lot of the time, it's not actually your protag who's at the center of this phase. This video is a lesson from a full free mega course on our website. If you're ready to supercharge your storytelling, click the link in the description and start your journey today. This video is also part of a series, so if you haven't watched the previous videos, there are links down below. Our inner gateway has shifted the story away from its lowest point and into a positive direction. Now, it's time to show the protag going after their goal with their newfound need and rising up until they reach the story climax. The final plan is the 13th step of USL and is a phase, meaning it usually takes up multiple scenes and locations. It is normally fast-paced and shows the protag rocketing up towards victory. We are approaching the climax of the entire story, known as the, wait for it, story climax. And the final plan is how we'll get there. It usually shows the preparations for the story climax and sets up all the pieces we might need. It's at this point in the story that the protag is dead set on their goal. It should be their sole focus, and they should put everything on the line to achieve it. In their mind, if they don't achieve their goal, they'll die, which could mean literally dying, or metaphorically not being able to live with themselves if they fail. We should see the clear trajectory they take towards their goal, and similar to how the uphill climb points us towards the midpoint, the final plan points us toward the story climax. There are three common parts you'll find in most final plans. The first one is the gathering of tools. These are often weapons, but can be any objects the protag might need in the coming fight. Sometimes they'll suit up, like in Always Be My Maybe, and other times they'll take stock of exactly what they have, like in Die Hard. Other times they'll dust off old supplies or fix things up, like Moana repairing her boat in Moana. This is half of the getting ready element of this phase. The other half of the getting ready element is the second common part, the mustering of allies. Here, your protag may apologize to those they've wronged or reunite with their group to face the antag together, assuming they haven't done this in the inner gateway. You can see this in Mulan, as Mulan rides into the city and convinces Shang and the other soldiers to help her defeat Shan Yu. Usually, these characters don't stick around for long, but we'll cover that shortly. The third common element is a different kind of preparation, and that's traveling to another destination. Usually, the protag is still in their rock bottom pit, and the story climax will often be somewhere else. This is where they grab their proverbial donkey, hop on their proverbial dragon, and fly to the proverbial wedding chapel, or something like that. In romances, this is often a cliche of rushing to the airport to stop the love of their life from leaving on a plane that is just about to set off. We spotted this a few times, but if you have any examples of this type of final plan, please tell us in the comments. In any case, the final plan is where the protag gets to where they need to be in the story climax. There is a fourth common element, but it only happens in stories with sub-antags. This is where the antag has henchmen, bodyguards, or minions of some kind that the protag needs to wade through to reach the antag. Usually, the final plan showcases the protag and their allies dealing with these inconveniences, like in our Mulan example, when Mulan and team take out Shan Yu's bodyguards. As a note, most times there are either way more sub-antags than allies, like in the Lego movie, or there are about the same number of sub-antags to allies, like in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is mainly so that everyone has something to do. And as a note, your final plan may contain any and all of these. And this transitions into an important concept about the final plan. Even though you may assume the protag would be the most important part of this phase, most times they aren't. Instead, the final plan is the time to let their allies shine. You can see this in our example from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's super common to give each ally an iconic moment where they showcase what makes them special and why they're on the team. In action stories, this is usually through fighting, like our last example. But even in stories like High School Musical, we see this happen as Troy and Gabriella's friends band together to halt their respective competitions and help the pair reach the audition. Fighting or no fighting, the protag's allies will usually be doing the same thing. They are here to clear the path for the protag. You can see this clearly in both our previous examples, and also in the Lego Movie, as Protag Emmett races toward Lord Business's office as his allies fend off the swarm of micromanagers. And often, these allies will sacrifice themselves or put themselves in harm's way, willing to die to help the Protag achieve their goal. You can see this in Slumdog Millionaire, as Salim sacrifices himself to help Latika escape so she can reunite with Protag Jamal. But whatever they do, they are usually doing it to help the Protag reach the story climax. That wraps up our lesson on the final plan, and you should now have a good idea of what it is, the 4 common elements, and how often the Protag's allies are at the forefront of this phase. But if you really want to dig deep into the final plan, the extended version of this lesson covers why the final plan is so important, a secret to ensuring you've perfectly set up for the story climax, and showcases the final plan in action with an in-depth example of the 1990 Christmas classic, Home Alone. See you there.